My name is Umairah binti Mokhtar. My metric number is AS09955.
My name is Khong Choon Yap and my matrix number is AS10109. So in this video we are going to present you about the plant hormones.
So stay tuned, guys. Research has shown that plant cells respond to stimuli by utilizing signal transduction. Signal transduction involves receptor, transduction pathway, and cellular response.
First, the hormone auxin enters the cell and is received by a receptor in the nucleus. This complex alters gene expression. Next, a light receptor in the plasma membrane is sensitive to and activated by blue light. Activation leads to stimulation of a transduction pathway that ends with gene expression changes. Next, when attacked by an herbivore, the flowering plant produces defense hormones that bind to a plasma membrane receptor. Again, the transduction pathway results in a change in gene expression.
Present you 5 major types of plant hormone, which is first auxin, gibberellin, cytokinin, ethylene, and abscisic acid. So, how auxin causes stem to bend? When a stem is exposed to unidirectional light, auxin moves to the shady side, where it enters the nuclei of shady cells and attach to a receptor. Then, hydrogen ions are pumped into the cell wall, creating an acidic environment. The acid triggers enzymes to dismantle the cellulose fibers in the cell wall, resulting in a weakened wall. Overall, the role of auxin is to cause the wall to weaken so that it can be stretched and rebuilt even longer. The end result of these activities is elongation of the stem because only the cells of the shady side are getting longer, bending the stem toward the light. Okay, so now, how auxin affect growth and development? So, auxin is responsible for a process called gravitopism, where after the direction of gravity has been detected by a flowering plant, auxin moves to the lower surface of roots and stems. A phenomenon called apical dominance is also caused. Did you know that auxin also have many commercial uses, which is auxin can also use and are sprayed on plants to induce fruit development without pollination, called produce seedless varieties. Synthetic auxin have been used as herbicide to control broadleaf weed such as dandelion. Agent Orange is a synthetic auxin that was used in the Vietnam War to defoliate the...
About the 136 gibberellins in the world, but the most common type of these gibberellins are the gibberellic acid, which is also known as the GA3. Gibberellins have many commercial uses. The gibberellins helps in the stem elongation and induce the growth in a variety of crops such as apples, cherries, and also the sugarcane. Application of GA3 increase both the stem length and also the fruit size. Also used to break the dormancy of the body seeds in the beer industry and promote fermentation. The next hormone is the cytokinins. The cytokinins promote the cell division and the organ formation. The plant organ formation are required for the embryo survival. But interestingly, there has been found that the senescence of leaf can be prevented by the application of cytokinins. Okay, now moving on to the next hormone, which is the abscisic acid. Abscisic acid is also known as ABA. ABA is a hormone produced in the chloroplast and is derived from the carotenoid pigments. ABA is sometimes called a stress hormone because it is maintains the seed and the bud dormancy and causes the closure of stomata. Okay, ABA promotes the dormancy. Dormancy occurs when the plant organ readies itself for the adverse condition by stopping growth. Reduction in ABA and increase in the gibberellins break the seed and the bud dormancy. Then the seed will germinate and the buds send fruit leaf. The abscisic acid also brings about the closing of stomata when a plant is under the water stress. Investigators have also found that the ABA induces a rapid depolymerization of actin filament and the formation of a new type of actin that's randomly oriented throughout the cell. Eventually, the last major hormone of the plant is ethylene. Ethylene is a gas involved in the abscission and the ripening of fruits. Ethylene causes the abscission. the absence of auxin and perhaps the gibberellin initiates the abscission, but once the abscission has begun, the ethylene stimulates the production of enzymes such as the cellulase that host the leaf, fruit, and the flower drop. Ethylene represents fruit. Ethylene moves freely through the plant by diffusion, and because it is gas, the ethylene also moves freely through the air, and a barrier of the ripening can induce the ripening of a bunch of bananas some distance away. Ethylene releases from the site of a physical wound, therefore the one rotten apple spoils the whole bunch. Ethylene is used extensively in the agriculture. For example, it's used to hasten the ripening of green fruits, and it is applied to the citrus fruit to attain the pleasing colors before being put out for a sale. Okay, now I'm going to tell you about how the plant responds to the biotic environment. Besides from the hormones that enable the plant to respond to the abiotic stimuli, the plants also have a lot of the chemicals to handle the biotic stimuli, such as herbivory, parasitism, and the competition from other plants. Unfortunately, the herbivores have ways around a plant's first line of defense, its epidermis and bark. The plants produce molecules termed the secondary metabolites as a defense or survival mechanism. Now let me tell you about chemical ecology of a plant, also known as the evolution reading. The chemical ecology is a study of the interaction between the chemical signals, the plants, animals, and the environment in which they live. Okay, there are basically four types of the chemical ecology. The first one is the repelling the herbivore and telling the neighbors. After a predator chews the tomato plant leaf, a small protein called the synthamine is produced in the wounded area. The synthamine is a part of a signal transduction pathway that produces the other defense compounds. These defense compounds become widely distributed throughout the plant and activate the gene expression of the proteinase inhibitor that poisons or repels the next predator. The second one is attracting the enemy. The whale tobacco, also known as a Nicotiana attenuate, the plant of the southwest United States and Mexico produces a nicotine to poison herbivores. The researchers have found a new way that the plant is ridding itself of the hawkmoth caterpillar larvae that have become resistant to nicotine. The third way is by the smelling your prey. The daughter vine, also known as the Cuscuta pentagona, is a parasitic plant that winds itself around a horse plant. Insert the sharp pegs called the Hostoria and feed on the horse xylem and phlegm. Noticing that the daughters seem to have a preference on a certain horse plant, the scientists hypothesized that daughters could smell their preferred male. Okay, the last way is by keeping other away. The black walnut trees, also known as the Juglans nigra, have the roots that secrete a chemical toxin that blocks the germination of the nearby seeds and inhibit the growth of the neighboring plants.